Well, turning now to one House bill introduced in the 2025 legislative session that aims to reform standardized testing in Texas schools. It's been a talking point for lawmakers, teachers, and students.
We break down the bill and how local schools plan to respond in this week's Education Report.
Ahead of the 2025 legislative session, State Representative Brooks Landgraf introduced House Bill 221, which proposes significant reforms to standardized testing in Texas schools.
House Bill 221 is the bill that I filed in the Texas House of Representatives to scrap the STAAR exam. It's an unnecessary, overly expensive, high-stakes standardized test that's not serving Texas students very well or taxpayers. And so I think this is an opportunity for us to really hit the reset button when it comes to how we hold our schools accountable in a way that unleashes the talent of our teachers and also saves taxpayers money.
Educators at ECISD say they rely on data from the STAAR test to assess what their students are learning.
This assessment is made and designed to assess whether students learned the TEKS, the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, and just to see their academic performance year over year and to inform educators what they could focus in the classroom year in, year out.
While the STAAR test does provide ECISD with data, it does not provide them with funding.
Our funding is based off of attendance. ADA is attendance percentage of students attending our campuses. And so STAAR performance has no yield as far as the funding that we receive from the state.
Representative Landgraf says other states provide better ways of conducting standardized testing.
No other state uses STAAR, but there are some very successful standardized testing models that are used in 27 other states, one being the Iowa assessments, which are much more accurate than STAAR. They are more cost effective, and that's why they're used with such great success in many other parts of the country. Normally, I think we do everything better here in Texas, but standardized testing is one area where other states get it right and we don't.
One of the major critiques of the STAAR exam is the anxiety it gives to students and educators.
You know, it's anxiety not only for the students, but for teachers and even parents, too. We put so much pressure on how students as young as third grade perform on this exam that it really puts so much focus on the test itself that we're kind of losing the forest for the trees and not really taking the entire education of our students into consideration.
Educators at ECISD say no matter what happens to the STAAR, they are still dedicated to providing the best opportunities to their students.
You know, whatever comes of that bill, I know that we'll still answer the call as educators. We'll go ahead and look at whatever instrument comes out of that, whether it's the same STAAR, the same EOC, or another one, or if they're completely eradicated. So we would look at what assessment comes out of that, what instrument is coming out of that, and then we still do what we do as educators, and that's, you know, dissect the data and then intervene for students, provide them the best educational opportunities, and ensure that they're learning.
Landgraf says House Bill 221 could pass before Memorial Day this spring. The bill would then take around a year to implement.
I think this is also going to be an important part of the debate that is going on right now in the state of Texas with regard to education savings accounts. Governor Abbott has made ESAs and some other education issues emergency items for the legislative session that we're in right now. So I think we can include this as part of the larger discussion with education reforms here in Texas.
And you can hear more about House Bill 221 right now on yourbasin.com.
And stay tuned every Tuesday for a brand new Education Report.